Hey guys, it's Arta Crystal McCoy, and in today's video, I am going to be doing a paint with me / tutorial video. If you saw my recent piece up here, you'll see it was like a starry moon, like night sky. So I would like to do a second piece, not as detailed, but a little bit similar, just to show you guys how I got the cloud effects and got the night sky effects in the painting. So we are going to be using this old canvas that I had in my canvas pile of like all the canvases that have been left and ideas that have been forgotten or whatever. I call it my forgotten pile of nonsense. I don't know. So this was a mermaid that I painted a long time ago. I don't really like how it came out. I hate the colors. Everything's mashing and it just doesn't look good and I don't really like it. So this is the canvas I'm going to be using for the piece today. I'm going to paint over it, and I plan on doing that with a lot of my other art pieces that are in that pile in the garage. So yeah, if you guys would like to join me on this how-to art tutorial for a night sky, if you could like the video, if you could subscribe, but only if you want to. I'm not gonna force anyone. So let's get into this video, and I hope you guys learn a little bit about how to paint this starry night full moon sky. So let's go, guys. So this is the mermaid piece that I'm going to be painting over. I'm going to start off with this apple barrel matte black. Shake it real good, that way you don't get the clumps from the paint. So I am going to use this big brush as well. This is more for like painting, molding and stuff like that. I used it for my studio room whenever I was repainting. And then I always keep the brushes, just make sure you clean them really good. So yeah, we're going to be starting off with this this mermaid piece here. We are going to take this black and we are going to just put it all over the canvas. I am going to cover this whole canvas, make sure that I get all those like spots and make sure there's no like nothing from the old painting sticking out. So you can see I'm getting the big brush here, and this is very simple. We're just going to go over all of this with that black. Luckily it's very thick. I'm not sure if we'll have to go over it again. I'm going to do this and then let it dry. And then if I missed any spots, then I'm going to go over it again with some more black. But we are just going to be painting this for now. It's just very simple. So that's the first step, guys. It looks like we're going to have to go over the bottom here again with the black paint, and then make sure to get those edges on your canvases. I know some people like don't do them, but I don't know. I like to do them just in case someone buys a piece and, you know, it's already a little bit expensive to buy art and maybe they don't have enough money to buy a canvas for said piece. So I always do the around like the edges of the canvas as well. That way if they hang it up without any frame around it, at least the edges are done as well, so it kind of looks better like that. So I always recommend to paint like the edges of your canvas, guys. And you could see I went over again horizontally with the brush just to make sure everything was even. And now we just wait till this first coat dries. I'm gonna go wash my brush. I don't have a sink in my art studio, so I'm gonna have to go to the restroom to wash it. And make sure you always wash your brushes, guys. Now that the first coat is dry on the black, you could see there's a little bit of the old piece still sticking through. So we are gonna go over again with a second coat. But like I said, make sure that that first coat dries before you start the second coat, because if you don't wait for it to dry, it's just gonna make those cracks bigger and you'll be able to see through again. So yeah, always make sure to dry. Unless you're doing like a wet paint technique, that's fine. But this with this technique, I'm getting the background dry first. So let's go over this second coat real fast, guys. One eternity later. Now it is time for the stars, so I'm going to take these two brushes. I am going to get some white paint out, and then I'm going to add some water to my palette because I want that white paint to be wet. I want it to be more liquidy, so I'm going to add more water. This is the paint that I'm using right here, another apple barrel paint, my two brushes. So I'm getting this thicker brush, and I'm going to dab the thicker brush into the paint. And then I'm going to be using the smaller brush to hit the brush, like hit it against it. And then that way it would like, all the paint would go out and create like all these stars. You could see as I dab this against it, it makes all these cool like stars, like different sizes, different dimensions. I'm trying to add more stars around the edges of my painting, but you could do the stars however you want. It's your painting. And that's the cool thing about it, is you could customize it if you want more stars, less stars. It's really up to you on where you want all your stars to go. And you could see this is a very easy technique. Instead of trying to paint like every single star, you get a whole sky full of stars right away. And now I'm going to use my paint bottle to do um, like a template for where my moon is. I wanted the moon a little smaller. You can make the moon larger or smaller, whatever you prefer as well. I'm using a silver Posca paint marker just to mark around so I could see where like the moon's gonna end and begin. And then after that, I will take some white paint and I will go and paint inside of this. I'm looking at a picture of the moon just to see like the craters and all that and where I'm going to add them. It doesn't have to be too crazy detailed because the moon is small, and yeah, you don't have to go crazy with it. So just add like the texture. So I'm going to add the white, and then I'm going to go over with some grays, different like light grays, dark grays, and it's your like painting. You don't even have to do a moon. You could do whatever planet you want, the sun. I don't know. It's your painting. Like I said, it could be wild. You don't have to follow the rules, and that's the cool thing about it. And if you mess up, you could always just paint over the painting. There's a lot of freedom when it comes to acrylics, which I do like. You don't really have to stay stuck on one thing. You could add like literally like a flying pig or something to this painting, whatever you want. Like I said, make it outrageous, make it wild, make it crazy. I am going to be doing the clouds next. So you're going to get a smaller brush and you're going to add like where you want your clouds. And then you're going to get a sponge. And that's what I'm doing here. And I'm making the clouds like fluffy. Make them look like they're floating. They're not so like harsh. We want to get those edges nice and soft. We don't want our clouds to just look like clumps of paint. So we're just going to get our or little brush to add like the main part, and then like you could use like a blush brush too, or just like any sort of sponge to get around these edges and make your clouds however you want. I added quite a bit of clouds because I had an idea of where I was thinking. I used to ride my four-wheeler at night at the river all the time, and I thought it was so cool, like on a full moon night where you could see the branches and the trees like looking up, and you could see the moon and all that like peeking through the branches. So that's what I'm kind of going for with this piece. I'm adding some light grays and on the bottom of the clouds just to give them a little bit more dimension. You don't have to do that, only if you want, but I decided that I would like to add that extra dimension to my painting. And then we're almost done. Like, this is a very simple painting. I think anyone could do it. And like I said, if you want, you could try it over and over again. Just practice your skills. It's always good to practice. And I am having a blast with this. So now I'm doing all these, the craters on the moon that I was telling you about. And then I'm also going to do a glow around the moon. So I added some water to my paint, to my white paint, and then I'm using my finger kind of like make like a little bit of a glow to the moon. It's fun whenever you're painting. Like, I've tried digital and it's kind of hard for me because I do like getting messy with my paint, and that's one thing you can't with digital. So I don't know, I'm always going to stick to being traditional. Like, I might try digital again. I don't know. I'm just rambling on. I don't know. Some of the stars I added, I didn't really like them. I thought they were a little bit too big, so I went over with some black paint just to block those out. It's the last step. I added one more tree on the left side of the painting. I am going to be using my UV Archival Krylon gloss. I gotta shake that pretty good. Make sure you shake it up really well. My hands look dry as hell because at work we've been busy and I've been washing my hands a lot. So ignore my dry hands. I sprayed it just to give it a little sample, and then I am going to go horizontal over the painting. I started on the bottom, now here, I don't know, some Drake song. So I sprayed the whole thing, and then I also went the other way as well, just to make sure I get this painting coated. And I am so excited with the final result. I hope this video was useful to you guys on your painting journey. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.